scale of 1 to 10,
Uh-huh.
how excited are you about the new Bee Gees documentary?
I didn't even know it was happening.
It's on HBO. Well, it's coming soon to HBO.
But yeah, 10.
Just found out.
Yeah.
10.
10.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, look at the dainty little sip.
It's so hot.
Hi, I'm Coco.
Marika. And we are
two friends who like to knit and chat about knitting, and that's what we're going to do here today. This podcast is called Knits All Right, because we're pretty all right. And I'm in Los Angeles.
I'm in Albuquerque.
And let's get into it. Are you wearing a knit?
I'm wearing a knit, but it's a store-bought knit.
Nice.
It's one that I bought like years ago. And it's just always too warm in LA for it. So now that I'm in the cooler climate, winter climate of New Mexico, it's been making more and more appearances.
It's like a preview of something I'm going to show you later.
Ooh, oh boy.
So we'll go into finished objects. I finished the Weekender from Andrea Mowry. Everybody's seen it before, I think. So as far as like a lot of people have knit it. I was concerned at first, I'll just stand up for a second. I was concerned at first that I made it too wide, but it's a relaxed fit.
Yeah, it just looks comfy.
Hip hop?
I thought you dropped something on the table.
These old bones, they ate what they used to be. Yeah, so this is it. It's made out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft. So the knitting of it was a little bit like, a little worrisome. I'm not a tight knitter, so I don't break the yarn often. And I don't think I broke it at all, but there were some very thin sections where I was like, ooh, let me just be extra gentle during that process. But on the blocking, it kind of like melds together a little bit and becomes much more structurally sound once that happens. So Marika's not a fan of knitting with this yarn, I think partially because of that issue, but it wasn't a problem for me. And as we've discussed, this is like the perfect weight, the perfect amount of warmth for me. So I'm already planning my next project with this yarn. So that's it. I don't have much to say. It's a square and you just knit all the way up. Like it's bottom up, which I don't generally like, but this one, you don't have to do the sleeves also bottom up. I think that's what kills me in a bottom up sweater, that you have to do the whole body, and then a lot of the times they have you do the whole sleeves and then attach, whereas this one I had to do the whole body like a little vest, and then you get to pick up the sleeves and goes down, and for some reason that gave me the strength to keep going. So
kept you motivated.
Yeah, I don't know, the bottom up with attaching the arms, just I don't know.
See, I like it because then you're like, oh, I'm home free now. Whereas like top down sweaters, they always start so fast and you're like, this is amazing. It's going to be so fast. And then you get to the sleeves and you're like, oh no, I have a real long way to go. I got the whole bottom part of the sweater and I got 2 full sleeves to do.
I guess it's like, do you like your slog up front? Do you like your slog at the end?
Yeah, as someone who lets projects languish for a very long time because there are steps that I don't enjoy doing, for me, it's helpful to get those undesirable steps out of the way at the beginning.
And for me, because I like having the yoke part that I can like put on and motivate myself to be like, you really want to wear this. You really want this to be done.
So you're going to push through the bottom half because like, look at how great this looks. So just two different ways to look at things.
Yeah.
So this is my first finished object, and it's very wearable. It's going to be a workhorse, and I'm excited to have it, but it's not, you know, it's a pretty basic sweater. I don't know that I would recommend it to people who are just their first sweater. They're trying to knit their first sweater because it is such a slog. And this was the Weekeneder Light, so it's the fingering weight version. Oh, I do not recommend because do the worsted weight version. You get the same exact look. It's the same exact structure. And in fact, if you bought one, you could figure out, I think you could probably like figure out the math to do the other one. You don't have to buy both if you want to knit it twice. But yeah, I wouldn't do the fingering weight version if I had to do it all over again.
But also you picked a very good color. It's very like festive for this time of year too.
Yeah, I got this color in the summer. I don't know what I was thinking, but it just ended up being done this time. The only mods I did was, I was worried that it was going to be too wide, so I made the size 2, and it's still pretty big because of the amount of ease that she recommends. But I also brought in the, no, I don't think that's right. Maybe I made the size 3, but I should have made the size 2, or I would have been fine making the size 2. And then I did the neckline as if it was the size 2, because she always does this boat neck, and it tends to slide off my shoulders when I do the actual size. This is a little snug. It could be a little bit more open, but generally like this section of my neck is not like the most flattering. So this is one where I'll always like have my hair in front of it anyways. I'm not gonna like generally wear the sweater with my hair up because, you know, the traps just look like monster traps, I feel like, when it's just not my best angle, I don't think. So anyways, cutting it in just helps it be more functional on my shoulders. But I understand why she has the open neckline, because I'm sure if it had a little bit more room, it would be a little bit more flattering, but it also just kind of like falls off my shoulders very easily. So that's the only mod I made. Like I made this size 2 shoulder. So I just kept eating into it. I didn't stop where she said to stop. I did a tubular bind off, and I am confident I didn't do it right, but I refused to look it up the entire time I was doing it. I was literally sewing and going like, this is wrong. And I just kept going. And I had to do it on the neck. I had to do it on the sleeves. And I don't know what that is about. That's a mental issue right there. Because I knew, I was like, this isn't right. And I was like, oh, well. I was like, you could stop and look it up. And I was like, nah, I'll just do it the way it is. And, you know, you can't see. Nobody, I guess it worked. It's fine. Nothing's going to fall apart. Yeah. But I'm confident it's wrong. I'm confident. So anyways, that's my Weekender Light.
Nice.
Don't do it. Do the Weekender normal worsted. Don't do the light version.
But check off the list.
Check off the list.
Stash.
And I would not do it again. I think this is the one. This is the only one I need. I don't think I would make it again. That's not to say you shouldn't. People make this sweater like 4 and 5 times. I just wouldn't do it again.
Yeah. There was one, I think I can't remember the name of the knitting store. I think they actually ended up closing. But all I was going to say is that they had a sample of the Weekender knit in this cashmere yarn. And I was like, and it was like a bright yellow. And I fell in love with it immediately and did math. And it was going to be like close to $400 to knit that. And I was like, okay, so I'll just admire from afar.
Well, I'm sure at the time, the Weekender Light only came out this year, so I'm sure that it was a worsted weight.
Yeah.
So if you found it in a more cost-effective yarn, I think you could totally do it, and it wouldn't take as long as this one took me, and you like bottom up anyway, so you'd be fine.
Yeah. So, Weekender, glad you have it. Don't need another one.
Happy to have it. Would not do again.
I, again, do not have any finished objects.
You didn't finish the gloves?
No. I can show you where I'm at with them.
Well, do you want me, for the sake of organization, I'll just run through my other finished objects quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. I finished finished. I'm showing you these. The ends haven't been woven in, but by the time that I post this, these will be gone, so I won't have them to show next time when the ends are actually woven in. So
will be gifted and with their new owners.
Yes. So we're gonna do it now. So I finished the Getting Warmer by Espace Tricot. I said cowl like 1,000 times last time, and then I looked it up and they don't mention that it's a cowl at all, so it's just called the Getting Warmer. It's a great look. So knits over knits feel weird. Right, so this is I'm a little stuck in here. Okay, there it is. Right, it's like almost a poncho. Not really. In this kind of burgundy color, which it's just a number, and I don't remember what the number is, but you get the gist. It's very cute. This is like Woolfolk Luft, and so it's a cashmere to me without being a cashmere. It's so soft and squishy. I feel like it's very elegant. So this will be a gift, and as I said last time, it's bulky weight, and I definitely recommend it if you're trying to get a fast gift out. This is a perfect project to do that if you have some bulky weight. It took 3 skeins, but I have some left over, so not enough to make anything else, but it took 3 skeins.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
I know, I kind of want to keep it, but I won't, but I really want to. Yeah, it turned out great. So there you go. There's that one. I finished the October hat. Did I show this one last time?
I don't think so.
This was going to be my camping look. This was what I was hoping for, and then I didn't get this thing done because it's fingering weight and it took too long. But I had knit this one out of the Lion brand Fisherman's wool that I had in my stash for a really long time. And I can't recommend this one enough. This yarn, it's a good all-purpose yarn if you are knitting gifts, and I think that I could have knit this one tighter. It fits me perfectly. As we discussed, I have a large size head, so on my husband, and this was supposed to be a gift for his father, on my husband, he looks like a toddler wearing it with an adult size hat. So I'm not sure that it works for anybody else. So anyways, you can kind of see the pattern. It's got like these little antler details. It was pretty fast because it's an Aran weight. So it went by pretty quickly. It's a great functional all-purpose hat. So it's called the October hat, and it is a free pattern. Another great gift idea if you need a quick knit. Okay,
nice.
Last one. And again, the ends aren't woven in. So this is the Poza by Ysolda Teague. Ysolda Teague? Yes. Try not to get makeup on it. So as previously discussed, it could be a poncho if I had added another repeat, but this is blocked and this is as big as it's going to get. I don't know if I can put it over my shoulders. Yeah, I can. I think if I wasn't wearing a knitted object, this would be more comfortable, but it's not exactly laying flat. But there you can see the pattern.
Mm.
If I was going to knit this one again, I would add another, oh, there it goes. I would add another repeat or maybe 2 and make it a poncho or ponchette or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so this one is just a cowl that can fit inside of a coat to give you a little bit of a scarfy kind of look. I think it could be tighter here. If it were for me, I would go a little tighter there just so it like really kept me warm. But this is a gift for someone else, so I just want to make sure they have enough room to get their head in and everything. And this is to the pattern, so that's how it looks. I do like how what we discussed before. I like how it pulls a little bit, the color, so that you get some of the orange up near the top. And this was done in MadelineTosh Red Fox is the colorway. It's just the Tosh sock. So this is a fingering weight pattern, and yeah, that's it. It's done.
Looks good.
Okay, those are my finished objects.
Awesome.
Now, the gloves.
The gloves.
Works in progress.
Works in progress. These are so close. I was hoping to have them done, but work was a little crazy this week, and I've got finals, so not a lot of knitting time happening. But I'm done with finals, and then I'm taking some time off for the holidays after this week. So hopefully have a few more finished objects next time, because I got a bunch that are real close. So these are the gloves.
Cute.
You get some of these threads out of the way. I figured I'd weave in all the ends at the end because I wanted to see like how the fingertips were working and make sure everything kind of was finished the same way. So I wanted to do it all at once. So I didn't like use one technique and then somehow figure out a different technique. So this is where we're at. Oh, I love this one.
And the pattern is called what?
His and her gloves. So you can kind of see this one's a little better. It's a rib, twisted rib, and then you just have this kind of center angled detail. And I used the Paton's Kroy socks in the blue stripe. So, you get this nice striping effect. Originally what I was going to do is just do the cuff with the stripe and then do the rest of the glove black. But then I really loved how the stripe was looking. So I was just like, I'm just going to stick with the stripe all the way up. And these are the women's large, men's small size is what I made. And I think I have pretty small hands, but what I did for the fingers is I lengthened them to accommodate my fingernails so that hopefully they'll fit a more normal sized hand. Because I'm going to donate these. So, hopefully I can finish the thumb this weekend and then weave everything in so that I can send them off next week.
So these were your first gloves?
Yeah, my first attempt at gloves.
Nice. They look good.
So yeah, it was a fun pattern, pretty simple. They didn't this ridge here, this angled, it's because you're increasing, the width of your tube. And they didn't specify whether to do a make one left or a make one right. So I did, for the right glove, I did a make one left, and for the left glove, I did a make one right. And I think looking back on it, maybe I should have reversed it, but it's fine.
It's a noticeable difference though, yeah?
Yeah, well, I think this one, it's just, you get a deeper divide on this one than you do on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I had swapped them, I don't know, maybe I should have just done a make one left on both so that they both looked like this. But I was also still trying to wrap my head around of where that is in relation to the thumb and the pinky. And so it was still like, I can't visualize it. I don't know. I'll just guess. And I might have guessed wrong, but they're fine. They're functional. The twisted rib, you know, makes them really stretchy, you know, so I feel like even though I made a specific size, they could still accommodate, you know, a pretty good range of hand sizes and wrist sizes. And it's a pretty thick, you know, cushy feel. So I think it'll be, hope it'll be good. And I think I'm going to make another pair in just plain black as well to donate.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the closest thing I have to a finished object at the moment.
Well, I admire your going to gloves. I haven't tried them. I haven't tried any gloves yet. Nothing wrist related. So I should work on that.
Yeah, and highly recommend the pattern.
Great. Okay. I have a huge stack of things, and I don't even know if I want to talk about all of them.
I have 2 works in progress. It's so sad.
Well, you are educating yourself and you know, working towards your future life. I just knit. Okay, so the theme of my stacks of work in progress is I've just been knitting chaotically, which is not usually my jam. But that's why I may not show everything, because everything's basically like, I did the ribbing on this, I did the ribbing on that, I did the ribbing on this, I did the ribbing on, you know. So anyways, let's talk best first, and best is still not going that well. So I am attempting, I told Marika, I talked a good game about like, I'm gonna try to knit from my stash and not get anything new and really work on my purchases and stuff like that. And then I just like bought 2 bags worth of yarn from Love Crafts.
But what we did discuss is that like, this wasn't just, I like this yarn, I'm gonna buy it and figure out what to do with it, is you went into these purchases with a very specific plan and purpose for them. I
did. I came up with a plan to justify the purchasing.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I got, and we'll discuss it, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about all of them, maybe we won't. But one of the things I got was this Novita wool cotton, which it is I believe it's a DK weight. Yes, it says it huge right there. It's a DK weight. And of course, you know, I'm on a mission to try every wool cotton blend that exists. So I bought this one with the pattern, the Celeste by Sari Nordlund in mind. Now, we all know that hat that I tried to make from her, I still haven't done it. It's still on the needles and it still needs to happen for Christmas. So I'm struggling, but I decided I wanted to take a run at another one of her patterns and see if it's me or if it's her. And you know, it's probably me, but I started it because I was kind of obsessed with having a white sweater for Christmas. Now, here's the problem. In the photo that I just showed, there are a lot of baubles. See, Marika had baubles. This was the preview. I again went too aggressive with the baubles. These are huge. These are huge baubles. They're so big you can't see the pattern going on.
Did you make a decision to make a larger bauble than what the pattern called for, or is this the pattern bauble?
I made a decision that I couldn't understand what she was saying. And so I was like, let me try that other bauble technique again. And again, it's too big. The bauble is too big. So okay, here, this is where, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. Right here, these two are after a couple of problems. This is not the first time I've started this. I got all the way down to this part where I was doing the second row of baubles once before. And what happened was I realized in the first round, there's a pair of bobbles. And then I looked at mine and I had randomly just like one bobble all by itself. And then pairs, one bobble all by itself. And I was like, okay, something's gone wrong. So I had to rip it all out and then I restarted it again. And then that's when I realized, oh, these are too big. So let me try one more time to read what she's saying, believe in her, and do what she's saying. And that's when I got to these little bobbles right here. So you can kind of see this is the appropriate size bobble. This is the bobble I've been making.
Okay, yeah.
Just for size comparison.
Yeah, that's quite a difference there.
I'm not sure that I like the bobble. And I still don't think this is correct because I started the decrease the way that she said to do it, but the increase of the bobble was not the way she said to do it. So I think if I rip back again and restart it, it'll come out a little differently. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. When I take a run out of bobble, I always think larger is better. And then it's massive.
I mean, I don't mind the big bobbles. I kind of like them, especially as like thinking of it as a holiday, like special occasion, like big impact statement sweater. I really like the big bobbles.
But in the pattern, there's like the, kind of like a heart or a leaf pattern. These bobbles are so big, you would never see it. I would be doing all of that work underneath it.
But I thought there was like a good amount of space in between the rows of bobbles with those like little kind of like lacework arches.
This part, but this is the start of another bobble. So if it's going to take over this whole section, and then all of this will be like, why'd you even do it?
Okay.
So
yeah,
I'm just gonna rip it out, get back to the rib section, and then
could you go like in between bobble size?
I'm not gonna do it because I bought exactly how much yarn I would need for this pattern. If I increase these bobbles, which this stuff is eating up yarn with bobbles this big, so if I increase this much, then I will get into a situation where I'm going to be short at the end because I don't know how to calculate for a slightly larger bobble in yardage, So we're just going to try to pull it out again, restart it, get these bobbles under control. But I will say about the yarn, it's a little ropey. It's a little bit like the cotton is definitely making it feel a little, the way that macrame feels. It's a little bit like that. Like it's a little rope-like. So we'll have to see what happens. But I am also knitting this on as a size 2, which is smaller than I probably should. But I wanted it to be fitted because I saw another finished one, and the pattern recommends 2 to 3 inches of positive ease, but I saw a white one where it was like just tight on the girl who took the photo, and I was like, that's what I want. I want like a tight, cute Christmas sweater. Today is December 12th, and I will have to break my hands to finish this Christmas. So I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know why, especially now that I'm struggling. I've restarted this bobble section 2 or 3 times. So anyways, this is, I basically just got through the ribbing and then have to keep figuring it out. So we'll see what happens with that one. All right. That's one. What do you have next?
Okay. So another knit that I have been struggling with for a long time is the Nightingale. Right. And it's kind of like, the way you were about the, why am I blanking on it now? The like purple one with the bobbles.
Oh, the minaret.
The minaret, yes. So like, I've been working on it for like over a year now. It's like not working. I finished it and it was a disaster. And, you know, in talking with some much more experienced knitters than myself, they were basically like, yeah, you done messed up on your yarn choice there. So you're just going to have to pick a different yarn. And I was like,
I appreciated how much you were like, no, I can make this work. And everyone was like, structurally unsound. You can't do it.
No. It's like, it's going to be too heavy always.
Yeah.
So find a different yarn. So I found a different yarn. So, the yarn I found is the City Tweed DK yarn. And I tried to replicate the Wool and the Gang Shiny Happy Cotton 101 spots that I originally did it in. I really wanted like a lighter color, like preferably a white with black speckles for the Nightingale. And so I ordered the Snowbank, which on the website looks real white, but in reality is more of like a silver gray. So now I'll share where I'm at right now with that. So this is where we're at. So you can kind of see like this is a cream. This is not a white or a cream.
Yeah, it's distinctly gray.
Yeah. So, but I am liking, you know, the tweed that's coming through. I'm liking the texture that it's creating. And it does seem to be holding, you know, it's a heavily cabled pattern. So it does seem to be, you know, holding the cables nicely, and even this little, you know, kind of like alternating seed stitch kind of section, you know, it does seem to be holding all of those details really nicely. And it's already, I can tell, so much lighter than the cotton, because this is a 55% merino wool, 25% superfine alpaca, and then 20% Donegal tweed. So, you know, already, and it's a DK weight, which is where previously I was working in a worsted cotton, 100% cotton. So, yeah, coming together nicely.
Before, when you were like desperately trying to make that cotton work, you were talking about going down some sizes. So are you knitting this to the size that they recommend, or are you like still adjusting the sizing?
No, so I did a test swatch to see, like, because it's a DK and the pattern calls for worsted, I did do a gauge swatch, so to see if I needed to adjust needle size, and I went up a needle size to check, and it made something that was like way too big. So I just went with what the pattern calls for, and I'm just knitting the original size I was gonna do. So I think it was the large.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so, and with the goal of having 0 positive E's. But what I think I'm gonna do is, like, this is the back panel I think you do first. So I'm gonna knit the back panel, and then I'm going, instead of going straight into the front, I'm gonna knit one of the sleeves, just to make sure, because one of the details I really love is this like gathered kind of like puff sleeve.
Right, yeah.
So before I get way too committed to this, I'm like, I had to do the back panel to make sure like the stitch detail would hold, and then I'll do one of the sleeves to make sure that that gathered detail will stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll continue. Hopefully that will ease my fears, and then I'll just finish the rest of it.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's a lot of, to me, that's a big investment in mental energy. So I too would be like trying to check all of the problem areas. Well, I say that, but in all likelihood, I would just knit the whole thing and then be like, ah.
So
I didn't.
But yeah, it's not exactly the color I wanted, but I think it'll still be a nice garment in the end, and, you know, still neutral enough, because what I really wanted was something that was pretty neutral.
Yeah. Well, I don't feel you're going to often, when wearing, stand against creams or whites, you know, so
yeah.
you'll.
So we won't have this clash.
Right. I don't think you'll be doing that to yourself often.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
Yeah. So that's, as soon as the gloves are done, I'll probably jump back over to that because I really do love all of the cable work. You know, it's a lot like when you do color, you know, and you have a chart and you're just like, yes, get me to the next row, next row, next row, next row.
Yeah, it does keep you moving because you're like, it's basically a to-do list and you're like just checking things off every row.
And I was smarter this time too, in that before I was knitting it with the, like from the pom-pom issue.
Yeah.
And since it's kind of like, I don't know, we kind of buy pom-poms collectively. And so I try not to like mark or bend or like, you know, I try and keep them as like pristine as possible. So, but this time I have the digital pom-pom on my like little, my little reader tablet thing. So I have the chart digitally on there. So it's a little easier to keep track of where I'm at and I can mark things out and, you know, make notes. So that's helpful too.
Yeah, totally. I'm glad you restarted it. I'm glad you found something, hopefully a yarn that's going to be functional for it because you've been very committed to this pattern for a while. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. More chaos. I don't think I shared this one last time. I cast this on shortly before the camping trip. This is the color. This is from Deep Stash. I had this and basically it was just like, I need to do something with it. So I thought it would go well with my Soldatna. No, that's not what it's called. The Koivua. I thought it would go well with the Koivua because of all the sunset colors. And this is called the, do I have the printout? I think this is called the Swoop Beanie. Well, I'm going to put the card down so you'll actually know. It's the Knit Picks pattern, and I believe it was free. And this is Malabrigo yarn. I'm so unprepared right now. Like I said, chaotic. I'll put it down here, what the actual yarn is. But very cute, loopy kind of pattern, and I have lost my way in this crown decrease. You see how it just like stops these things?
Make a hard right turn.
Yeah. So something's gone wrong. I was doing it late at night, and it's like on this one, there's just one break in the line. One break. So that's the row where things went wrong. But in general, it's going to be cute. And I could always, depending on how it closes up, I could just put a pom-pom on it and hide it. No, it's before the pom-pom. Anyway, so this is not one where you fold up the brim.
But yeah, it's nice. It's almost kind of like that that turban hat you have, that turban knitted hat. Yeah.
And eventually I want to be able, so I've got this hat I got from Urban Outfitters that I wear all the time, and it's a knitted hat that looks like a little turban. And I've worn it so much that I've kind of stretched it out, and I don't know how to like shrink it back together. And so I need to figure out how to recreate that hat. But this was a good use of some stash yarn that I just needed to get rid of. And it'll be good for, because now I am a camper, person who camps. It'll be good for a camping trip, I was trying to very quickly get it done again for the camping trip, but then this chaos happened at the top and I just put it down. And I was like, okay, it's not going to work for that. So I need to find some motivation to get back to it and fix it. But whenever something's not working out, I just stall on the project and kind of like leave it for dead. So trying to not do that because there's a lot of stuff that's not going right now.
Aww. So
anyways, that's just a quick hat I was trying to do. And it is, because this is I think this is a bulky weight yarn. It goes quickly. It's just that I just lost my way. That's it. And I got this super cute Sandy by the Lakeside bag. That, I just love the tassel. That's really like, and of course I had to buy it in pink.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good little small project bag.
Yeah. It's a cute little sock bag or something.
Mm-hmm. I like that it looks like it would stand, flat and open.
Yeah, it does. It very much does that. Okay, more chaos. So for a while, my house had no heating, and it was very cold in here.
That's been fixed?
It's been fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still pretty cold. There's only a heater in the front room. Then there's a space heater in the back room. Everywhere in the middle is just the temperature, the ambient temperature that it's going to be from those two heat sources. Mm-hmm. So I have found this winter that like the knitted socks are the best because I also don't have a pair of slippers. So this has motivated me to get some of my half finished objects done. So I have this black is the new orange new something. I'll put the card in. something new and black is what the sock is called. But it's got this very interesting heel where you're basically making increases to create the heel. I've shown this before, but it's been a really long time. And I chose it because I loved this stripe pattern and I didn't want to break up the pattern doing a heel flap and gusset. And I just kind of wanted to try it. I think these are socks for my husband, and I am gonna guess that he's gonna wear this heel out. The heel flap and gusset is like a very structurally sound heel, and I'm just a little worried that this is something he can bust through. But we're gonna see. We're just gonna test it out. So I have one of them done. The other one I have started and I've gotten down to the heel part. So here it is. There's the heel. But I went too far. I was watching a documentary, James Baldwin documentary, not a documentary, basically like one of his books read, or an essay read. It's on HBO. But I got into it and then didn't realize I had increased too many times. So then I had to rip back. So here, all the stitches are just live and I still need to pick it up and keep going down the foot. But I'm very motivated to finish these now because I don't have slippers. And I've been stealing my husband's socks that I've made for him because I really haven't made that many for myself. So, and I never make pairs that match because I can't be bothered. So,
and it's like, you can tell that they belong together. They don't need to have the exact same stripe sequence.
It is something that very much bothers some people. And if you came to this channel with that, this will be annoying for you because I don't do it.
There was a period in my life where I would never pair my socks. I just had a free-for-all sock drawer, and I would be like, "Are you about the same height? Then you're going on my feet."
That is.
So I have no problems with unmatched socks.
That's a level of chaos I don't expect from you. Wild. Okay.
I have one more.
Great.
So I'll talk almost every episode about how much I love Coco's Koivua, which is, I guess, how we've decided we're going to pronounce that from now on.
Yeah.
So I am making my own. I'm attempting to make an exact replica of hers. I bought the same yarn for the color that you did, but I do not like a very woolly sweater, especially since it has kind of like a mock turtleneck. This is wool, and you can obviously tell I have to have something underneath it. Like otherwise everything will just be like red and itchy and I'll have to take it off in like 10 minutes. So to try and get around that, but still maintain the feel, I started sourcing some yarns, and I wound up going with the Lion brand LB collection Chainette, which is my favorite, 70% baby alpaca, 18% virgin wool, and then 12% polyester, basically. So I only bought one because I bought a bunch of different options from the Lion brand LB collection because they had like some really cool blends that I wanted to try. So I basically bought like 4 or 5 different types in a natural or a cream color, and then did a bunch of test swatches, and the Chainette seemed to be the closest to gauge. So I went with that, and it's just like really fluffy, and I don't know, I've been knitting with a lot of really fluffy Chainette things recently, and that's just my vibe at the moment. But this is how far I've gotten. So I only had 1 ball of the Chainette, which I've basically almost used up at this point. But this is where we're at.
Yeah, I like, I feel like yours looks softer. Like just when you hold it up, yours looks softer than mine. And I think it's going to look really luxurious.
Yeah. My only concern, and like when I did the test swatch, I made sure to do the stitch pattern for the cream sections in the pattern, to try and see the stitch definition. And my only concern is like the Chainette, because it's so fuzzy, doesn't lend a lot of stitch definition. So that's my only main concern, is that it might just look a little messy, you know, as opposed to like an intentional pattern.
Maybe, yeah, but it'll feel nice.
Yeah, but I do like, you know, it's, yeah, I just love that it's so fuzzy and fluffy.
Right.
So yeah, so that's where that's at right now. I need to order some more of the Chainette to keep going.
Great. I'm very excited for the eventual episode where we get to wear them at the same time.
Oh my God. Sorry, I dropped, like, this is all I have left of the Chainette, and it fell on the floor, and I was like, ah.
Yeah. So, is this worth talking about here?
I like that color, but
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's all taken. So I am attempting to do the Wool and Honey sweater by Andrea Mowry.
And that's the like honeycomb one?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually have a printout this time. I printed this out so that I could take it with me to try to do this on the camping trip, and there was like no time. So this is it.
Okay.
I didn't want to do it in a honey color, and I was like, no more red. We have to pick a different color. So I really wanted to try this Mondim, because earlier in the summer I was trying to justify getting this yarn in the La Bien Aimée colorways. You know, she did a dye of this, but it's so wildly expensive. It's cashmere expensive. More yardage, but her ball, it's that price point. And I think Marika rightfully was like, you don't even know what that yarn is like. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I was about to make a huge investment into a yarn that I had never experienced before. So the colorways that come from Retrosario Pomar or Rosa Pomar, these are more cost effective. Like, they are reasonable. It's somewhere around $11 or $12 for a good amount of yardage. It's like 421 yards. So there's significant yardage on these, and $11 or $12 is a reasonable price. So I was like, okay, let's buy it and then try it before committing to indie dyed, hand dyed colorways that really increase the price significantly. So anyways, this is all I've done. All I did was the ribbing, and then I have to switch to a new needle, and I didn't start the short rows yet. But I'm very excited to have a neutral sweater. Again, I think it'll be a nice, everyday piece. And I'm really liking this yarn so far. It's very woolly, but it could be a substitute for the Brooklyn Tweed Loft that I keep making everything in. So it'd be good to have a backup. And this is just purely based on how much yardage you get. It's a bit more cost effective to get this one than to get the Brooklyn Tweed. They're the same price point per skein, but it's just that you get so much more yardage per skein with them. A lot of people make socks out of it. So I'm excited about this one. I'm excited to see how the yarn wears and the end product. I think it'll be a nice, sophisticated look. So there's that one.
Yeah.
Also, is this worth showing? Kind of not. This is the best. This is how much knitting I have done for my poor beleaguered husband who just wants a sweater. I got like 2, 3 or 4 rows into the ribbing, and then I knit this sweater. I knit that elm sweater. I cast on this sweater, and every day he walks by and he's like, "So you're making something new for you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." But the problem is, this is Rift by Jonathan Flood. I love the shoulder details on this pattern. It's a sweater for men. I love the shoulder details. It's a little like, I don't know. I just think it's great. But it's a bottom-up sweater. I got to do the whole body, and I got to do the arms before I get to do that little shoulder detail. I'm not so great with delayed satisfaction. So,
and it's the body of that sweater is going to be significantly longer than any of the bottom-up sweaters you've knit for yourself.
Yes, because not only is he 6 feet tall and I'm 5'4", but he also has a very long torso for someone who's 6 feet tall. So it's just gonna go on for years. So I'm a little concerned that this sweater may take a decade to make, So anyways, I only bought 2 skeins to test it out, and it's going fine. I got again, Marika and I were talking about it, I got the LB collection, the superwash merino, superwash, not exactly environmentally friendly, but the likelihood that he's going to put this in the washing machine is 100%. There's no reason to get anything else. He might even put it in the dryer. So, I didn't want to get something that was too much of a commitment. Also, despite being a person who likes rugged things and treats his stuff very roughly, he's like Marika. He's like, the softer the better. If we can get close to cashmere, that'd be great, but I also want to put it in the washing machine. So this is kind of this I think is a really great option if you have somebody who's like that in your life, because this is a very soft, bouncy, springy yarn that is cost effective. So if he ruins it, it's fine. It's a commercial brand yarn, and it is machine washable. So all of that's great. I do need to go ahead and commit and buy the other 3 skeins that I'm going to need to finish it. And I might even just get 4 just in case anything goes wrong before they discontinue this for some reason. And then I'm like, because as I said, this is going to be a long project. I don't want to be buying 1 skein at a time, because I won't have. It'll be so long in between buying them that it could be a problem. So that is something I need to do soon, just to make sure I have it all together. Okay. I think that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about. Everything else is probably also just I did the ribbing. So that wasn't, there were a lot of finished objects, but my works in progress are very like, I just can't focus right now. Do we want to talk about my acquisitions, or do you think no?
Up to you.
Yeah. Well, I want to show you this one thing. I bought more Brooklyn Tweed Loft, right?
Oh.
This is the Yellowstone colorway.
Uh-huh.
And I'm considering doing the twigs. Have I shown you that one before?
Maybe. I can
you
get
can
on
Google it.
Ravelry really quick. Oh, yes. We have discussed this one. Yes.
So I'm thinking about doing the spin cycle that I got with this. And I'm going to test this one out.
Yeah, no, I think that looks like a good combo to me.
A nice woodsy.
Yeah. Very like, I'm going to a pine forest kind of feel.
Yeah. So that's one of my future projects. So I'm justifying it like, oh, I'm trying to use this from my stash, but also I would have to purchase a bunch.
And purchase a sweater's quantity of a new one.
Yeah. So, that the logic there is not sound.
But I like the combination.
Yeah. This is the only other one I'm going to talk about. I got this guy.
So good.
It is, West Yorkshire Spinners, the Croft Shetland Tweed. It's 100% wool and DK weight. This is the Railroad.
Railroad?
It's called Railsboro.
Okay.
But I keep thinking it's Railroad, and then I stop in the middle of it. So, so we've talked a lot about the bouquet. This is 2 Junkos in a row, but we talked a lot about the bouquet sweater, and I was thinking of doing this with do I still have it here? I've got this tiny little cord organizer that I keep using as reference. So I was thinking about doing this with a bright green, maybe not highlighter yellow, but something.
Highlighter green.
Maybe highlighter green, yes. So this morning I found a Malabrigo online that is, the colorway is like green apple or something like that. It's not quite neat.
I was gonna guess like pickle juice or something.
Well, actually, yeah, there's it's a fingering weight yarn. I have a fingering weight yarn that I have in a pair of socks that's called pickle juice, and it's that color.
Oh yeah. That's a good neon.
But I don't want to. The pattern has you carry your floats in the front. So you've got basically like loose strands across the front of your sweater. And I don't want to carry a fingering weight doubled in front, because it's going to make, it'll be 2 pieces of yarn for every time you have to carry it. And I just think it's going to get messy, and it'll be more likely that I could catch it and pull on it. So I do want to make sure that I'm getting a worsted or a DK weight. The sweater is supposed to be worsted weight, and I think I could probably use a DK and a worsted together. What happens? So I think I'm going to order that Malabrigo. Marika and I had some discussion about how that lime green color is not a color that I wear. So I am nervous about buying yarn just to test it, because I'm like, I don't know what I can't make a hat out of it because I wouldn't wear that hat. Maybe I could make socks. Yeah, I can make socks. But I don't know if I could get 2 pairs of socks, 2 socks to make a pair out of 1 ball. So that's also a question. But that's been a little of my trepidation with buying stuff to test it, because I have to at least buy 1 skein, and it's also a color that I only want to use in conjunction with the color work on this sweater. I have no other reason to have that color, because it's not a color I wear. So anyways, but I'm gonna try.
I'm always for incorporating neons into your wardrobe.
Right.
Full support.
Full support, co-sign. I have no idea. But this is, I always, whether it's going to be a neon pink or a neon green or any other color, I've always been very committed to the idea that the base was going to be black and white. I wanted to use the Brooklyn Tweed shelter in newsprint, but this was on sale, and I was like, give it a chance. So I'm excited about this. It feels great. I love the way this yarn feels, and I think, Marika, you have a skein of this that you bought in Scotland, but it's one.
Yeah, I think I got 2 skeins, and it's kind of like an army green color. And I think I'm gonna make some wrist warmers or like fingerless gloves out of it.
Yeah. And now you've got the tools since you've made a pair of mittens. I am excited about the Celeste, but in reality, like, I'm not going to finish that in 12 days. And then
maybe not.
What?
I said maybe not.
Maybe.
Could it be a New Year's sweater?
Maybe.
Could you finish it in 19 days?
Those extra 4 days really make a difference. But when I was just holding up the options for the twigs, I was excited about that, and I was like, oh, I should do that. I should swatch for that today. And then so like I said, I'm so chaotic right now with my knitting. I still have that other hat I need to make, so it's gonna be, I don't know why I just can't get focused right now, but I think I was so joyous at having finished this. I was like, I can do everything I've been waiting to do.
Yeah, you were like, got this one out of the way. Any and everything is fair game now.
Yeah.
So let's do it all.
Let's do it all at the same time, which is the perfect way to get nothing done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, well, I'm excited about your Nightingale. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
All right. I guess
we all finish it in time where it'll still be cool enough to wear it.
You still got months, right? It's not going to get warm in Albuquerque until like March.
Right. Yeah, but I'm coming back to LA, so
yeah,
I'm not quite sure for how long, but I do need to come back for a bit.
Yeah, it's not going to work here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for the knitting portion.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.
Have you been watching anything good?
Not too much. What have I even been watching?
You've been watching a lot of questionable Christmas movies.
Yeah, I watched one this morning. Because my sister's in Albuquerque now too, and she loves them as well. So we watched one called All About Christmas Eve, which was kind of a sliding doors-esque Christmas movie with Haley Duff.
Okay. I do like sliding doors.
Mm-hmm. We came in late, and so we didn't get the setup that it was sliding doors, and so we were very confused for a little while until I was like, oh, I think this is sliding doors. Because they had just brief synopsis.
No spoilers.
Okay, so Haley Duff's character is like a big time party planner, and she gets this job. She lives in New York, but she gets a job to plan this party for this like up and coming tech bro in Los Angeles. And so at the beginning, I think this is what we deduced, was she misses her flight to LA in one scenario and gets fired, and then has to like move back in with her parents and figure some stuff out. Mm-hmm. And in the other timeline, she makes the flight and is in LA planning the party for the tech bro. And tech bro's the love interest. So then, but what happened is we were at the point where she was at the party No, she was in an office and like in LA and talking to the tech bro. And then all of a sudden there was like this weird like transition where it like a card was folding and then there was like digital snow. And then it was New York and she was going to her parents' house and we were like, what happened? Like so confused. Like what is going on in this movie? This is even crazier than they normally are. But then once then I was like, oh, I think it's like alternate timelines, and then it was okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. And there's a new one. Then we saw an ad while we were watching it for another one. Or two more. One is with Fran Drescher and trying to set up this gay man. So we were like, oh, okay, some diversity in the Lifetime Christmas movies. So that one comes on tonight. I can't remember what it's called. And then there was another one I think that comes on tomorrow night that's called like A Sugar and Spice Holiday. And also just refreshing to not see Christmas movies only with white people. So we were very excited about that one too.
Okay. I think speaking to the difference in our versions of holiday movies, I have rewatched the first season of Fargo. And I think I'm just going to move right along into the second season of Fargo. Mm-hmm. And I am saving all very Christmassy things till probably the last week. And it's just going to be like Home Alone. And I don't.
Yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger on any like major ones. Like Elf has not been watched. White Christmas has not been watched. Any version of A Christmas Carol has not been watched. You know, those I save for the like week before Christmas. But you know, the little trashy formulaic ones are like, yeah, throw those in.
Yeah, my version of preamble to Christmas though is very different from yours. You go with the trashy Hallmark, and I've watched like Batman Begins, Forever Ends. I don't know, the one
Batman Returns.
Yes, that one, the one with the penguin.
Yeah,
so watch that one.
You're like Snow and Violence is your preamble to Christmas.